One of my main focuses here in the practice is on posture, and over the years I've learned a lot of useful tips and tricks and hacks that people can use to help improve their posture. Now, I've shared a lot of these with people that I see in practice here. I've shared a few of these on social media in the past, but what I wanted to do was to put together 7 of my favorite postural tips all into one video, so that if you are wanting to improve your posture, you can go through, watch them all, pick 1 or 2 that you think may work for you, pop them into practice and see how your posture improves over time. So if you're wanting to improve your posture, hopefully there's something in this video that's going to be useful for you. So without further ado, let's get started. So our first tip is called the post-it note method, and this is a great way of improving your posture, but also a great way of creating new habits. So what you're going to do is you're going to get a post-it note. Now you're going to write something on here, or you could just leave it blank, or in fact you could actually just use any sort of sticker or something that's going to grab your attention. So you might write something like posture on here. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take it off, you're going to stick it on the side of your computer screen, so that whenever that catches your attention during the day, we're going to go into that more neutral position. Now over the course of the day, this is going to catch your attention multiple times. We're going to be in that better position for longer, and it's going to help you generate what we call sort of postural fitness, because the more you stay in this slightly more neutral position, the stronger you get in that position and the more time you can spend there. And over time, your posture is going to get better. So this is a very simple tip, but it's really, really powerful, and I've had a lot of success with this personally, but also a lot of people that I see in practice have had a lot of success with this as well. So the post-it note method is a really great way of creating new habits, but also it's a great way of improving your posture as well. So our next tip is all about your chair, and what we want to try and do is sit so that our hips are higher than our knees, or at least in line with our knees. We definitely don't want to be sitting with our knees higher than our hips, because this puts our back into that rounded position. Now some chairs have the ability to adjust, so you can change a lever, it can tilt forward, so when we're sitting there, what happens is our pelvis rocks forward, which means that we can sit upright with a lot less energy. Now you might have seen those kneeling type chairs back in the day that were quite big back then. This is like a smaller version or a pared back version of that. Now if your chair doesn't adjust like this, you can get posture wedges. You could even just try this out using like a folded towel or a cushion of some sort. But sitting with your hips higher than your knees is a really simple way of enabling you to sit up straighter with a lot less energy. It might seem a little bit weird, but if you try it, you'll notice that it's much easier to sit in this position than it is with our knees higher than our hips. So give it a go and let me know in the comments if you found this easy or not. So our next tip is the shaka sign, or the hang loose sign. So one of the things you may not realize is that when we're in a nice neutral position, the distance from our belt or our waist to the bottom of our sternum is about the same as the distance as it is from our little finger to our thumb in the hang loose sign. So you can use this as a little tool to say, am I in a good position? So if you're slouching away at your desk working away, you can just think about increasing that distance so the shaka sign fits in there, and we're good to go. Now it's a really simple way of just getting into a more neutral position without having to think about chest up and shoulders back, down, chin in, and all this sort of stuff. Just thinking, increase that distance, works every time. Now you can do this standing, you can do it sitting. It's just a really simple tool, but it's really, really effective. So our next tip is a simple posture cue, and this is a sternum up cue. So the idea here is that rather than thinking chest up, shoulders back, shoulders down, chin in, head tall, we can think about just lift the sternum up. It's kind of like the shaka or the hang loose one from the last tip, but it's just another simple cue that some people find a lot easier than the shaka sign. So what you want to do is think about lifting your sternum up towards the roof, almost like there's a string here pulling straight up. So one of the things we want to try and avoid here is simply tilting back. So we don't want this, we want this. Okay, so it's a very subtle movement, but the idea is that if we lift our sternum up, our shoulders will go back, our shoulders will go down, our head's naturally going to come back, because our head will always do what your mid-back does. If our mid-back's rounded, our head will go forward. So as we lift up our sternum, our head will naturally go back. And again, you can use this as a simple cue. So whenever you think about it during the day, just think about sternum up and you're going to be good to go. So the next tip here is called the red light cue. This is one of the more recent ones that I've learned. This is perfect for anyone that spends a lot of time commuting to and from work, or someone that spends a lot of time in their car during the day. So the way this works is every time you're going to come to a red light, we're going to think about your posture. So you might use some of our other cues like the hang loose or the sternum up. We might think about having our head against the headrest so we're not leaning forward all the time. Whatever you do, just think about your posture when you're at the red light. And over time, you're going to find that to become a bit more second nature. And again, like in one of the previous cues, I said that the more time you spend in these better positions, the stronger you get in those positions and the easier it is to stay in those positions. So next time you're in the car and you stop at a red light, think about your posture. So my next tip is probably my favorite, and this is called habit stacking. Now I learnt this from James Clear in his book Atomic Habits. And the idea is that we're going to have these habits that we already have, and if we want to learn a new habit, then we want to stack it on top of an existing one, and that way it's much easier to learn or create that new habit. So for example, with posture, it might be every time I brush my teeth, I'm going to go into that more neutral position. I'm going to focus on my posture. Every time you are waiting for the jug to boil, every time you have to talk on the phone, we're going to think about being in a neutral position. I'm sure if you think about it, there's lots of these existing habits you already have, and it's going to be much easier to try and stack your new habit on top of those existing ones. So the best way to make this work is think about what habits do you already have in your day, and then what posture cues can you stack on top of those. I'm sure there's going to be at least 4 or 5, maybe even more things you could potentially do throughout your day. And once again, the more you do it, the better your posture gets. I just wanted to quickly interrupt these tips. If you are liking this type of video, please hit that subscribe button. It'll really help me out, and hopefully you won't miss out on future videos then as well. Anyway, back to the tips. So our 7th and final posture tip is an exercise called the Stork. Now I show this to the people in the practice here as a way of improving balance, but it's also a really good tool or good exercise to improve your posture. So to do it, you're going to stand with your feet together, going to stay up nice and tall, going to come up onto one leg. Ideally we want to get up to 90 degrees here. When we get up to 90, it makes your glutes fire up, your core comes on, so it's a little bit more of an exercise. I'm going to stay nice and tall here. I'm going to hold this for 5 or 6 deep slow breaths. So it's going to be about 30 seconds to a minute or so. And you're going to repeat that 2 or 3 times a day. This is a perfect exercise to combine with the habit stacking tip we talked about previously. This is great to do while you're brushing your teeth. You can do it in the shower. You could do it while you're waiting for the jug to boil. There's lots of times in your day where you could easily stack this on top of an existing habit and really start to improve your balance and your posture at the same time. Now again, when we're in this position, the more you do it, the stronger you get in it. It's that postural fitness we talked about. So we want to use those postural muscles as much as we can, and the Stork is a great example of this. So if you want to improve your posture, try out the Stork. So there you have those 7 posture tips. Let me know in the comments which of these tips you're going to put into practice, and hopefully if you do it consistently over time, your posture will improve. And once again, if you do like this type of video, please hit that subscribe button. That way you won't miss out on future videos. But until next time, we'll see you soon.